Alright, alright. Alright, here we go. Oh.
Omni-Man?
Alright, yep, that's Omni-Man. Alright, let's get him. Team up on him. Oh, see, they're doing the one at a time trick. That never works. We know that never works. Alright, fish guy. Hit him with water. I mean, water's not gonna do anything. Look at him, he's like Superman. Ooh, speedy. Too fast. Oh, you mad? You mad? oh, you got him now. Oh, you can't go to grapple. Never let him grab you. Oh, yo, he's punching him though. Ripping the shirt. Oh, he's done. You saw the fish guy? Fishman went. What's up, everybody? I'm Scooby Baby. Welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about what we talk about every week: movies and TV. Specifically today, TV. But before all that, I want to say I think I finally figured out my whole branding for the channel, my whole shtick. I'm just about to be the most normal dude on movie YouTube. Cause bruh, I checked out like a bunch of other YouTube pages that talk about stuff like this, like movies, TV, all that, do reviews. You know, I was doing some market research. And bro, those people is some odd balls. Like, people is out here really just living up to expectations of what you'd expect YouTube people to look like, bro. Like, no lies. So I'm officially the biggest bro on movie YouTube, and I'm just gonna lean into it. I think it's just gonna be my whole thing. So today we're talking about an easy one. When we talk about the last group of TV shows I watched, basically everything I watched in April. Is it worth watching? Do I recommend it? Let's get into that. So I'm going to base this on three things, all right? I'm going to base it on how good was the show, how fun was the show to watch, and what is the time commitment looking like. So I'm going to give an out of 5 rating on those three categories, and we'll see if I actually recommend the show or not. You know, I might try this with a few other things like albums or podcasts, but honestly, like all of the podcasts I tried listening to last month were wild trash. I will say though, the one album I did like last month the most was the Yachty album, that Michigan Boy Boat. I rock with that album. That album was tough. That was the best album I listened to in April. So I would check that one out. I like the vibe. I like all of the guest appearances on it. My boy V's, knew about V's before it was cool. Believe that. So check out that album if you want. That's my recommendation for that. But now, without further ado, let's get into the TV shows. First up, it's WandaVision. So the first show I watched in April was WandaVision. Now, you've probably already heard about this show because everyone was just talking about how good this show was. And all they would talk about is how creative it is and how you have to watch it. Well, to be fair, I mean, they're kind of right. I was resistant because I get it. Superheroes are just like shoved down my throat so much. I just needed a little bit of a break. But I finally decided to sit down and try to watch WandaVision, and I was happy I did. And they were right. It's super creative. It follows the Scarlet Witch and her husband Vision following the Avengers Endgame movies. And it focuses on them. And the reason it is so creative is because the first episode is done like a 1950s sitcom. Then the second episode is like the 1960s, then the 70s, 80s. And it kind of just keeps going like that, giving you all of these different looks at how they shoot the show, like all these old sitcoms. And I mean, I won't go too deep into it to give any spoilers away, but it's pretty cool to see a superhero done by Disney, done in the form of Full House, you know. So it's pretty cool. Check it out. There's not really anything done with that. So I would definitely recommend this show. It definitely sputters a bit at the end. I mean, when you think about it, it just kind of reverts back to another big blasty battle between two superheroes or supervillains. And you know, it definitely reverts, but the main concept is not really like anything I've seen before. So if we're talking about how good is the show, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 because it was pretty damn good. And it definitely had some room for improvement, and I don't give 5s, as you'll probably catch on soon enough. As for how fun the show was, I'll give that a 4. I think all of these Disney shows are pretty fun, and I mean, I liked all of the Avengers movie. I'm a big superhero buff, so I'll give that a 4. As for the time commitment, I'm giving that a 4.5 out of 5. It's super easy to watch. It's 9 episodes. I think 8 of them are 30 minutes, and 1 of them or 2 of them is 45 minutes to an hour. So that's the first one, WandaVision. The hype is real. Check it out. Next up, we got The Sinner Season 3. So the next show that I watched was The Sinner Season 3, and this one is on Netflix. So I don't know if you've seen the first season, maybe the first 2 seasons of The Sinner. The first season starring Jessica Biel, and it's a story about her, who's a regular person who commits a crime, and then they spend the entire show explaining why she did it by giving bits and pieces here and there. And the second season is similar, but also just very garbage. It's about a kid. I didn't like him. I didn't care about him. It was about hippies. I don't care. But season 1 was very good. That's the show you should check out. Jessica Biel stayed on and has executive produced the whole show. So this is her special pet project. Like, she wants this to work. So you're rooting for her. So in season 3, which she is not in, it's starring Matt Bomer, the guy from White Collar. Now, he's pretty good. How does it stack up to the other seasons? Well, it's better than the second one, which is garbage. But I don't know. It just doesn't really come together the way the first one does. It's meant to be very deep and edgy and like, oh, the life is so hard and deep and but it just kind of comes over as like a very attractive white guy with a perfect life, just kind of being a little whiny, to be honest. But I mean, Matt Bomer does a decent acting job. I just think the show's not as clever as it thinks it is. And also the main detective who's in all 3 seasons, I cannot get out of my head that he just looks like discount Robin Williams, like bearded Robin Williams. You know, like, she's dead, Chief. She's dead, Chief. That guy. And he just, I don't know. It just doesn't really come together. But there is some good acting. And honestly, the middle part, when they're in New York City, when they're in the city, and they're going to parties and they're bar hopping, that part's fun. But the beginning is not fun, and the end is not fun, and they act like it's a big reveal, and it's not a big reveal. So how good was this show? It was like a 2.5. It was kind of bad, but had good elements. It was good, bad. That's my 2.5. How fun was it? It was a 2. This show was not fun. It was a bit of a slog. It was a little boring. And that was really what brought this show down. They should have had more fun with it. And time commitment, I'm giving it a 2.5 because it's 8 episodes long. It did not need to be 8-hour-long episodes. It could have been half that because there's basically no story after like 4 episodes. And also, I'm afraid that you're going to end up watching season 1 and season 2, which was horrible. So, yeah, 2.5 on that. So The Sinner season 3, just watch season 1 and give up. But season 3 is decent if you have nothing to watch, like, oh, you're watching all these shows with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and you're not allowed to watch some shows when they're not there, so you put this on right before bed. It's that kind of show. All right, next. Now we got the new Netflix anime, Yasuke. So, Yasuke. Yasuke is the new Netflix anime about the first African samurai by the same name, Yasuke. And this show was kind of a massive, massive disappointment. It just wasn't that good. Listen, it is the story of the first African samurai who fought for Oda Nobunaga. All right, it's a real story. And that sounds dope as hell. That sounds freaking dope, okay? That's a show that I want to watch. Just tell us that story. You're golden. Home run. But they don't do that. They just do too much. They do way too much. And they throw in robots, okay? There's just no need for robots. There's robots, there's magic that's not really well defined, and there is a ton of characters that just really take away from this main character himself, Yasuke, played by Lakeith Stanfield, who was all right. I mean, it's hard to be a voice actor. It's not the same as being a live action actor. So listen, the art is really good. It looks great. The landscapes are breathtaking. I think the characters are designed really well. The music is really cool, although there's not a ton of it, but this show is pretty mid. This show is pretty mid. How good was it? It was a 2 out of 5. It was pretty whack. I mean, you just didn't need robots, bro. You didn't need robots. Also, you could have done with half the characters and double the episodes. How fun was this? It was a 2.5 out of 5. There were a couple moments that were fun, but, they didn't even feel earned. The whole thing felt rushed. You don't even spend that much time with Yasuke. The whole thing is focusing on him bringing around some random magic girl that no one cares about, and they're barely on screen together. There's just a ton of characters and robots that you don't need. yo, this show sucked, bro. This show was mad whack. You missed the ball. Come back and do it better next time. As for the time commitment, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 because it is only 6 episodes. And I can't give it a 5 because honestly, you don't even need to watch this. Sorry. Just please do better with season 2. Next. Finally, it is Amazon Prime's Invincible. All right, so the last show that I watched was Invincible. And when I first saw like the little preview for this, the image on Amazon Prime showing me what this show was and recommending it for me, I was just like, oh, okay, so it's just more superhero stuff. It's super violent, but it's a cartoon. So it's basically The Boys, right? It's the Amazon show The Boys, but the cartoon version. And bro, I was so wrong. This was the most pleasant surprise of April. This show was fire. This show was just so good. Like, yo, so it basically starts out the way The Sinner did, right? It's just a horrible crime is committed on the very first episode, as you saw in the opening clip of my video, right? And dude, you spend the whole time trying to figure out why was that done? What are the intentions behind it? What does it mean? And this show is just so good, man. It was just such a pleasant surprise. Like, the animation is wild cool. It just looks good. And it is violent. Like, it is crazy violent, but like not all the time. They use it at the right times. This show is perfectly cast, okay? It's got Steve Yeun, star of Minari and from The Walking Dead, and he's the main character. It's got J.K. Simmons, all around bad guy and everything. He played J. Jonah Jameson in the old Spider-Man animated series. If you were up, if you know, you know, okay? And then it just has a bunch of other smaller characters who are just perfect. It's got Seth Rogen. It's got Zazie Beetz. It's got the insane dude from The League. It's got that guy. He's hilarious in this, by the way. And yo, it's just a really creative show. It's based on a comic book called Invincible, and it makes me want to check out the comic book, but it also makes me want to not check out the comic book because I'm afraid I'm going to hit a spoiler and ruin something before the next season comes out. So, yo, I could not recommend this show more. This show was dropping week by week, so I had to wait for each episode to come out. And, bro, I could not be more excited each week. When it finally dropped, I was just like, yeah, we're going to watch Invincible. This is the best day ever. Okay, but... So how good was Invincible? I'll give it a 4 out of 5, which for a cartoon is really high. For me, it's high in general. So super high that it's a cartoon. And I mean, listen, it's a cartoon, but the drama is very real and very much made for adults and well done. As for how fun is this show? I mean, you saw the clip I showed at the beginning of this video. That is a 5 out of 5. It is a very fun show. The funnest show that I watched out of all of these ones. And then time commitment, I'm giving that a 4.5 out of 5. I don't even know how many episodes are, but they flew by, and I wish there were more right now. So yeah, Invincible. That show was fire. So there you have it. There's all the shows that I watched in April and what I thought about them. Leave a comment. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. I'm just trying to get the algorithm going, you know. I'm trying to get, you know, the most normal dude on YouTube, you know, some likes and comments and things like that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And yeah, let's see if we do this again next month. I will say one more. Here's an honorable mention for you guys. The White Boy Rick documentary on Netflix. Yo, that junk was pretty interesting, okay? Did you know that the longest sentence to a nonviolent drug offender was given to White Boy Rick in Detroit? I didn't know that. There's also a very lovable hitman and ex-drug dealer. Check that out. That was interesting. So that was on Netflix. It was a couple hours. That's my honorable mention. And until next time, Scooby Baby, I'm out.